Being outside for those couple of days, probably, I think I got a cold, but it was worth it. I spent the first 2 days kind of just smelling as many fragrances as I could, and it's funny because people saw me walking around with this sheet, and this was my cheat sheet that I asked ChatGPT, well, no, I'm sorry, Gemini to make, so that I can kind of just keep track because I'm not usually this organized, but I have to try to be. And it allowed me to just kind of keep track of everything that I've been smelling in the houses that I've been seeing. So it was very helpful. And the thing about ScentXplore is that this was my first one. Niche fragrances, you can equate niche fragrances, the niche fragrance line, kind of like music. You know, you have the popular songs, which are designer fragrances in the houses, that everybody's familiar with, very pop, very easy to appeal to the masses. And then you have the niche lines, which are focused on the art. So those are like the artistic expressions of the music. You don't get to see much of them on the Billboard Music Awards, but they're there because of people who appreciate music and nuances. And just being there and getting to see the houses and their interpretations, it was just wonderful. I think the fragrance community in itself, this one specifically, um, it was just wonderful to speak to everybody. But I wanted to share with you kind of like my overall recap of what I felt about ScentXplore and how I came away in the end. Sit back, enjoy. This is going to be a bit of a long video, but hopefully bear with me. Day 3 was really just about going back to the couple of houses that I missed and smelling the fragrances that I didn't get a chance to, but really getting to the final, because I did walk away with fragrances. I did buy a couple of fragrances that I really, really honed in on. But it did come down to a couple days of narrowing it down. There were so many wonderful houses in there that are just worth mentioning. I wish I could, the ones I mentioned, I wish I could just get all of them, but it's an expensive. I don't want to call it a hobby. It's an expensive experience. Eventually, maybe I'll get to it. But uh, what I wanted to mention, the House of Cosmos was just a huge, huge smash. It was great to see them come out with their new line. They just came out in Scent Explorer and they sold out immediately. My favorite of that line was New Eden, which I think everybody, if you get a chance, you gotta give their sense of smell. I learned about Curatrix, which became one of my other favorite houses because me being a bit of a noir macabre freak fan, they kind of went in their macabre and noir. That's their line that they went for. All their fragrances have a dark-ish vibe to it. It's like even the summer fragrance, the summer freshie, had a dark vibe to it. It wasn't bright. It was noir throughout. The House of Noya, I was really impressed. I thought a great marketing thing was their reactive strips. When you spray the fragrance, it's really dependent on the strip, not really the fragrance. The strip is going to expose the color of the fragrance that is on that strip. Two favorite of that line were Moonshadow and Velvety Musk. Smoky Amber was really good, but it wasn't really smoky or ambery. But Smoky Amber is kind of like the easiest to get into from that house. If you're interested in Noya, that would be an easy way to approach that house. Floraiku, they're a sister branch of Memo, and I'm a fan of Memo as well. Their story was more about like the Japanese experience, kind of grasping that. Sleeping on the Roof and Umbrella for Two were my favorite of that line. Another house that I really enjoyed was a Gentleman's Nod. It has that ruggedness about it. Outlaw and Damascus Number One being very, very appealing to me. Burkholz, another good house. I really liked Tobacco Scents. Laurent Maison, Fil de Nord Number One, also a wonderful fragrance that I enjoyed very much. RDZ was a brand that I learned about. Art Museum, really enjoyed that. I really liked Nishend. I like their whole approach because their story, their framework was how does space smell. They actually took a bottle and they put it in the upper stratosphere, not really in space, but up there. So that's a very unique marketing thing, but all their fragrances kind of represent planets and celestial bodies. My favorite was Planet X. It smelled the most appealing to me. I didn't take a video of it, but I got to see the Emmanuel side, which was on the second floor. Emmanuel's a store in New York that I swear it's on my list and I just never get a chance to go to. I will get to see it. I promised that I would. But they had a whole line. I got introduced to the Kajal line, and two favorite being Icon and Lamar. Wonderful fragrances. I spent a lot of time in the Max Aroma station downstairs where they had House of Dastan, they had Oman Luxury, they had Micallef, they had this gourmand fragrance called Crumble Me Softly by Made Bizou. It is very gourmand. Cookie with toffee and caramel. Just think of that. Being that I can smell Amouage and Memo on a regular basis, I didn't spend so much time in there, but Amouage did very well at this event. I went to the Armaf line. I got to meet Cristiano Provenzano, wonderful, very interesting fella. Armaf's SHC number 4. I got to speak to Saud also, and he said that number 5 is coming out and it's supposed to blow all the others out of the water. It's his blue fragrance from that line supposed to come out. The other of the Armaf line was the Provenzano number 1. So hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on those at some point. But that's a summary of the houses that I got to meet and speak with and smell. The other thing about day 3 was I got a chance to chat with other content creators, and I don't consider myself a content creator. I'm more like a contributor. I love fragrance. I want to share it with people. I want to share. I want to share my enthusiasm for that sense, all things olfactory, and in a way, hopefully, help you make better decisions with regards to your olfactory choices. With those content creators, I was able to talk about fragrances and just the industry itself, and we got to chat a bit. We talked about how I can improve my message and just improve my delivery overall. I learned a lot from them, and there was just some of them are very, very wonderful people, really nice to talk to, very easy to talk to. At the end of the day, I made my purchases, which I will have to talk about in another video. But at the closing of ScentXplore was the award ceremony, the People's Choice Award ceremony. Those who registered for the event were given a link where they were able to vote for like best house, best fragrance, best digital voice, best upcoming house, etc. There were so many. It was just a wonderful experience to see the community get together and just share the love of fragrance with each other. It was very moving. For me, the event was a chance to interact and speak with and really show my appreciation to two YouTubers that I have followed for many, many years now. Just a little bit of a backstory. I've always loved fragrances. I've been obsessed with fragrance since I was a really child. From the smell of my uncle's leather-seated car mixed with his Marlboro red tobacco, just that scent overall, to the smell of like an Italian jasmine and that car scent, that air freshener scent that they always had. My mother loved fragrances. My father had a couple fragrances. Anytime I would ever go into my family houses, I would always sneak into the bedrooms and just get whiffs of whatever they were wearing. My uncle, when he first bought the Boss Bottled. So fragrance has always been I don't want to call it an obsession, maybe, but I've always been into fragrances. And I didn't really jump into it until I was 14. My first bottle, 14 years old, I went to JCPenney and I bought Cool Water and Polo Sport. And it kind of started this chain reaction where I was always in the mall and I was just smelling everything I could get my hands on. Other times I would buy bottles outright. So I have dozens of bottles in my room. And this stuck with me through adulthood until 2007 when I started getting into the more private line fragrances. When I discovered, I started working by Bergdorf Goodman, and I would spend a lot of time there. I also discovered the forums. So the YouTube space wasn't as active as it is now, nowhere near as active as it is now. So I would spend a lot of time on the Base Notes forum. and I would hound those forums and consume as much information as I could. Um, but I never gave anything back. So it's all about what I want, what I can get out of these forums for my own personal uses. Later on, when YouTube started coming out, a couple of YouTubers started disclosing and sharing their reviews of fragrances. There weren't nearly as many as YouTube fragrance enthusiasts on YouTube as there are now, but one of the originals that I started following was Steve Redolessence. Back then, there was also Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. Many of them have come and gone, like Mad Makers. Steve is still around. And later on, I would follow another YouTuber, Cubano. Um, I would watch their stuff and I would just take whatever they provided. I never gave back. I was like that worker at the company potluck who always ate the food but never brought anything for others to eat. So I was consuming a lot of this knowledge. It was really for me. And watching Steve and Kuba, they're still at it and they're contributing. And after all these years, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about fragrances as part of this channel is because I felt like I wanted to give back. It's time for me to cook something and host the potluck. I don't know if the food is good, but I wanna share whatever I can. But at ScentXplore, it was actually it was a great privilege to meet Kuba, to talk with him. It wasn't just like a coming and going because they're very busy doing what they're doing, but actually have a conversation and talk with him about things. He was just a very pleasant guy to just walk up to and talk to, but also to speak to Steve and I thank Kuba, but I thanked Steve as well because for sticking around because the YouTube space has changed so much. Um, and to thank them for all their contributions that they've given over the years. Now, at the award ceremony, there were a lot of awards given. Amouage won probably the most. Decisions won for best fragrance in 2025. Now, there were many digital voices. All of them deserve great kudos and credit for the work they've done. But Steve was the one that was voted for digital voice. And one of the scenes was as Steve went to acknowledge his award, he called Kuba because they know each other and they work together and they've kind of supported each other.
Everybody who was nominated is incredibly deserving. It really means a lot to me. I think I am incredibly proud of Max and this entire community here. Everybody is super passionate about fragrances. But I'm going to be honest with you, I feel a bit guilty accepting this award if I don't share the stage with my friend Angel Cuba. If you wouldn't mind coming up here, and I'll tell you why. Because if it weren't for this gentleman right here, we were at an event in February of 2024. He forced me to go on TikTok. So if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be up here.
That was just a beautiful sign of how the community is when Steve acknowledged Kuba's contributions and how they helped each other. To see them on stage together was just, you're like, these were the two that I've been following for years. Congratulations to Steve for winning the award, but that he brought Kuba up and acknowledged him, like that is respect and that is reverence. That is just a beautiful thing. And this is why I followed the two of them. So it was just an amazing feeling to kind of circle back. I don't know how far I'm going to go with fragrance in this channel. I do hope to stick with it and just kind of continue with fragrances. But to being able to say thank you to those two was kind of an honor for me. Overall, it was an amazing experience. For my first ScentXplore, it was overwhelming. This is like Comic-Con. This is like a quarter of Comic-Con, except this is Comic-Con for fragrance enthusiasts. Imagine if you multiplied ScentXplore by 4, you'd get Comic-Con. But if you're in the fragrance space, I love scents, but I also like just scents overall, the stories, the experience, the vibe, the feelings that you get from it. and just to be around people, even the non-influencers that I spoke to, there's so many wonderful people. We just connected with our love of all things olfactory. So I am very grateful to have been a part of it, to have experienced this. I do hope to go next year, and hopefully in between there are going to be other events that I can attend to. I do recommend it. I do say if next year is going to be anything like this year, dress warmly. Be prepared to stand outside in the cold, um, and then be ready for nose blasts left and right because it was overwhelming. I've smelled thousands of fragrances, thousands of fragrances in my life. I just added another 1,000 to the list. This doesn't keep track of all of them. I can't tell you what, if I remember what the OG Envy smells like. Um, my head just doesn't work like that. Anyway, I know this was a long video, so if you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this Unraveling ScentXplore. I hope to can give you more, to contribute more to the community, give something of value, give back, as I said earlier, and help other people make their decisions olfactory. It's not just fragrances I'm talking about, but when it comes to fragrances, hopefully I'll be able to do justice with the community. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.